Alright, so what did we discuss in our previous class? Anyone remembers anything from the previous class?
We discussed
what was the topic? Let's start with that. Let's discuss in a proper flow rather than random point. What did we begin with? Of course, we begin with the recap, so we are not going to do any more recap. That's because some new people are there. Anything you remember from the previous class?
we started with purpose of Bhaktivedanta.
Okay, do one thing, just raise your hand so that one person at a time. Too many people. Just raise your hand. Whoever I see first, please raise your hand. Okay, Kiran, through.
We discussed the purpose of Bhaktivedanta versus Bhakti Sastri, but in Bhaktivedanta we cultivate devotees in Bhakti Sastri.
In which context did we discuss?
That's in Yes.
So, Bhakti, we are discussing about what is the definition of Uttama Bhakti. So that is the flow you need to understand. We discussed what is the definition of Uttama Bhakti or pure devotional service. So what is the shloka?
Yeah.
Very good. Anyway, it will come in the exams. Okay. So, Anya Abhilashita Shunyam means that pure bhakti, there is no place for any other abhilasha or desire other than to please the Lord. Okay. Anya Abhilashita Shunyam. Koi Anya Abhilasha, which means any other desire outside of pleasing the Lord is what? Zero. Put an equation. All material desire is equal to? Are material desires conducive to Krishna consciousness? No. Srila Prabhupada said, material sense gratification and Krishna consciousness go ill together. Amrit, you have to be quiet. Was it him or was it somebody else? No, it was not him. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Amrit. Who was that? Okay, so we'll have to keep him engaged. Keep the children absolutely silent because I can't concentrate. No? So, Anya Abhilashita Shunyam means any other desires other than the desire to serve the Lord is zero, is Shunyam. Jnana Karmadi Anavritam is what? Pure devotional service is not covered by the pursuit of speculative knowledge. If you want to really define it like that. For example, we are gaining knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Isopanisad, so many things. Is that knowledge jnana? That jnana which is spoken about there? Yes? Yes. Okay. How many of you say yes? You are not raising your hand, but you are saying yes.
Oh, I am saying yes, but that is not covering the bhakti.
That's what I am saying. Yeah. Good. Okay, so that is not that jnana which is spoken of there.
Yes.
This jnana is that jnana which leads to bhakti. That jnana is that jnana which doesn't lead to. Whatever you want. Okay. Okay, let me make it simple. There are two types of knowledge. Knowledge which leads to bhakti and knowledge which leads to arrogance. So we are not talking about knowledge, speculative knowledge which leads to pride and arrogance, which takes you away from the Lord. We are not talking about knowledge which says the Mayavadi philosophy, which says that you are God, I am God, you are God, everybody is God. Or we are not talking, that is bogus. We are also not talking about that knowledge which people say yatho mat tato pat. Jo bhi karo, sab ek hi hai. Chahe Ashtanga yoga kahiye, chahe Jnana yoga kahiye. You know, people talk all these things, no, with big beards. Okay. So we don't get bewildered with all that presentation that they do. It's very simple. At the grassroots, knowledge which doesn't lead to bhakti is useless. And that knowledge which doesn't lead to bhakti is mentioned in this verse as not conducive for devotional life. Okay. Speculative knowledge. Knowledge which is bona fide based on the scriptures, which leads us to Krishna Bhakti is required actually, and that's what we are cultivating here, right? And today we'll see why that knowledge is so important. Today we'll see that.
It is also said that there is some amount of speculation is needed. I was reading Ways of Devotion and he said there will be a little bit speculation, but not that must lead us to Krishna.
Yeah, anything that leads to Krishna is good, not Krishna is good. Speculation that doesn't lead us to Lord Krishna is good. So jnana karma. What is that karma which is being spoken about? Fruitive activities. For example, somebody will say, "Hamare ghar mein Ganapati Homam is there. Please come with family." Somebody will say like that. Then you ask them, "Why you are keeping this Ganapati Homam?" So they will say that वो husband को promotion नहीं मिल रहा है आजकल, correct? Or something like that. सबका स्वास्थ्य अच्छा रहे फैमिली में, सब हमारे घर में शादी हो रही है, सब शुभ मंगल होना चाहिए. So they will say शुभ मंगल, then they will put on coconut sticker in there and then one Ganpati picture, and then they will invite everyone. Okay, that is that bhakti? Obviously, it's not bhakti. Okay, it is just you are trying to sign a contract with the devata, saying that I will do something for you, but boss, you do something for me in return. Okay, that is not bhakti. So, or some people do all these things to attain the heavenly planets. Karma kand, which is said that if you do this, punya ki prapti hogi. Since I come from a hardcore Tamilian background, they say we have all this punya karyangal. We say like that. They say punya karyangal. So you do this and you attain lot of punya. But where does punya lead you to? Punya leads us to. Does punya lead us to Vaikuntha Lokam? No, it leads us to heavenly planets.
Or higher above, that's all.
Yeah. What is the example of that? A simple example of that is if I get a lottery ticket tomorrow, or sorry, let me not say lottery ticket, because for punya also you have to work hard. Let us say I perform excellent on my job, okay, and the company says, in fact one of my godbrothers got an award 2 years back. He works with SAP America, SAP India, and he was an outstanding performer. He was my batchmate also, and he's my senior also in Krishna Consciousness. So this person, he called me up, he said that I have got a free ticket to Australia with family, paid in hotel, because he was an outstanding performer, so he got this award. So they flew him to, of course he couldn't come to Melbourne because they were strictly, he was coming with his team and he had to move around in some zones. Okay, so if you get such an award for all your hard work, and then your boss tells you, go and stay in Hilton Hotel for 10 days. Then obviously, very nice, Hilton Hotel, Sarwan will say, salam, you will get every day morning, what is that? What is that drink which is that? Wafer laga ke upar?
Cocktails.
Whatever, cocktail, mocktail, whatever. And then for 10 days, you are like Sahenshah in that hotel. But on the 11th day, what happens?
You will be kicked out.
Then you will say, kal to laya kya aap? Kantos, you called me sir, good morning, but now you are telling me sir, sorry, you have to vacate the room. So you are speaking like this with me. Then you can't argue with the person that you behaved with me yesterday like this. आज मुझे लात मार के भगा रहे हो और बिल दिखा रहे हो. He'll say, no sir, you are very much welcome, but you have to put another $50,000. Then you have to work for one more year to be the top performer, right? So it's like that. So heavenly planets and doing this karma kanda and then attaining punya or pious credits to go to heavenly planets. Heavenly planets are like the Swarga Loka is like the Hilton Hotel. You go there, the moment you exhaust your pious activities, you are going to again fall down into the material world. So it's not a very interesting proposition. It's only temporary happiness, temporary material happiness of a higher nature. That's all. So, karma, jnana karma yanavritam. That karma talks about fruitive activity. So we have to really understand this. Anya abhilashita shunyam, jnana, karma, adi, etc. etc. Activities like that. Adi means etc. Anavritam. They are not coming under the realm of pure bhakti. Anukulyena Krishna anusilanam. Anukulyena means what? Bhakti has to be in a favorable mood. So we talked about two things. The desire, the intention should be what? Favorable. The intention of doing bhakti should be favorable. Please concentrate. The intention of doing bhakti should be favorable. It is not that incidentally it has pleased the Lord. Incidentally it can please. Okay, but the intention has to be favorable. Correct? Is it clear? Incidentally, if it is pleasing the Lord, that is not bhakti. That is just an accident. So the Lord is bhavagrahi. He sees the intent. Right? So that is why it is said anukulya. Service has to be anukul, not pratikul. Are you all with me so far?
Yes.
Anukulyena Krishna. What did we discuss in Krishna? That bhakti word is only applicable to Lord Krishna. It is not applicable for any other Devi Devata. Why? Correct. Because the Lord is Akhila Rasamritamurti. That is true, but bhakti cannot be done to demigods. With demigods, what do?
Business.
We do business, we do transactions. Somebody may say, no, but I am really a bhakt of Shiva is different. Shiva comes in a different category.
Ganapati Anjaneya.
Suppose somebody says, I am a bhakt of Lord Ganesh. If somebody is a bhakt of Lord Ganesh, what will he do?
He will follow his instructions.
Bhagavad Gita and Mahabharata, which he has written.
So, last year I was invited to a program. Krishna Prabhu, where was it? What was the
Prabhu party for Ganesh.
Ganesh festival. So there were some 100-120 people were there in the hall. So we were asked to give a program there. So it was a big hall, somebody had arranged. And then a lot of Telugu speaking devotees were there specifically. It was Ganesh Chaturthi on that day. So they invited us to give a class. So everyone had come there and people were saying that they are Ganesh Bhaktas. Okay. The simple question that we asked them was, do you all know what was Lord Ganesha's greatest contribution? Trust me, no one knew. No one knew. Okay. Do you know who does Lord Ganesha worship? No one knew. Okay. Where does Lord Ganesha derive his powers from? No one knew. Okay. And all of them were calling themselves
Ganesh
Bhakta. And time to time they will say Ganpati Bappa Moria. And they were saying that Ganpati Bappa. And everyone say Moria. Like that. Okay. In Bombay also it is going on like that. Okay. But no one has an idea of what they are doing. In Bombay, in fact, I told you last time, they will come. They will say Ganpati ka Vargani dena hai. Don will come. Building ka gunda hai na. He will come and say, kya hai? 2 rupees diya. And then he will pauti bhadta hai. No pauti. Receipt. That receipt, you can throw it in the dustbin. It's got no value. It will put some, Sarvajanik Mitra Mandal, Ganesh Utsav. Okay, and they will take money. And then, how these people talk? Because I was very closely associated with the group in my earlier days. So how we used to do it? चले वर्गणी लेते हैं चल. अभी क्या है 10 रुपये अपना. अभी अपन मेहनत किया है ना. So 90 rupees किधर जाएगा? कोकोनट फिर वो वगैरह 10 रुपये का. मस्त रहेगा एकदम. ठीक है. अब गणपति है भाई. मजाक थोड़ी है. Enjoy. So drink. So actually this is how it works. It works like this. Ganpati or Holi, it works like this. Okay. You don't know where you are giving your money. Okay. And nowadays, earlier at least, the colony fellows used to go. So I also used to go. Auntie, Ganpati ka chanda. I had no clue what is Ganesh. Okay. But now gundas are coming. Now it's become an extortion racket almost. Like that. So this is not bhakti. Now, if you even the genuine people who are attached to Lord Ganesh, who were there in that program last year in Melbourne when we gave a class, those people also, they have no idea why they are worshipping him. What was Lord Ganesha's greatest contribution? Srimad Bhagavatam. Vyasadeva dictated Srimad Bhagavatam and Lord Ganesh kept writing that. So why will Lord Ganesh, and what does Srimad Bhagavatam say? Who do you worship? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. The first ever starting of Srimad Bhagavatam is with the words Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. अरे जब लॉर्ड गणेश वो लिख रहे हैं and he is telling us to worship Vasudev, मुझे क्या तकलीफ है worshipping Vasudev? Why am I saying no, I worship Lord Ganesh? when he himself is worshipping Lord Krishna. If you want proof, you can say, where in the scriptures is it written that Lord Ganesh is worshipping him? Then you should read Brahma Samhita. In Brahma Samhita, there is a verse. Anyone remembers which verse? Ramadi Murtishu Kara Niyamena. No, which one? Vignan Vihantum Alahasya Jagat. Correct. Can you say that, please? What is the first line? Correct. Yatpada Pallava Vinidhaya Kumbha Vanve Pranama Samaye Saganadhiraja. Then Vignan Vihantum Jagatrayasya Govinda Madhipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. So what is the meaning of that? Sorry Arvind Prabhu, you were right. I thought you were talking about the Yatpada Pallava. One more verse like that, no?
It's in Bhagavatam.
That's in Bhagavatam, yeah. I thought you were mentioning that, sorry. You're right. So, this verse means that Lord Ganesh derives all his powers to become Vigna Vinayak. From who? From Lord Krishna, not Nashingadev, actually. Lord Ganesh ji also derives power from... Where, you don't have a chair?
That's fine.
No, take a chair, no? There should be a chair. So Lord Ganesh also derives his powers from Lord Krishna. That's why every time we sing Namaste Narsingaya, what do we say at the end? Vigna Vinashak Narsimha Bhaiya Bhagavan ki Jai, Prahlad Maharaj ki Jai. So that Vigna Vinashak power comes to Lord Ganesh from who? From Narsingha. So this has to be understood. So most of the people don't know all these things. Just that Ganpati Bappa Moria Pudcha Varshi Laukarya. Next year come soon. People keep singing it. Just in rhymes, and then they take the deity of Lord Ganesh, so big one, okay, and then they put it in Chopati beach or Shivaji Park somewhere. Desecrate the deity, pollute the beach, right? So it's a meaningless function which is going on. It was started, actually I tried and investigated. Somebody told me it was started by Bal Gangadhar Tilak, no? Yeah. He started the whole thing for what? Hindu-Muslim unity, something, I don't know what it was. For Hindutva. Something.
To get the youngsters outside.
To get the youngsters out, to do some,
To congregate them against the Hindu-Muslim.
Okay, whatever. Okay. So it is not coming from the scriptures. That kind of worship is not scriptural at all. Okay. It is something somebody has invented and sab log kar rahe hain. Okay. So devotees do not partake in all these activities at all. Right? Rather, we worship Lord Ganesh much better than what they do. Why? Because the demigods are immensely pleased if somebody becomes a devotee of Krishna. Because that is what they also want. Right? Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, and we have studied in the Bhagavad Gita over the last 2 years, that when we worship a particular demigod with Shraddha, what does the demigod do? Slowly channelizes our bhakti to the feet of Lord Krishna. Okay, so we need to understand this. So, Jnana Karma, so that karma which is the, and so bhakti can only be for Krishna. It's exclusively for Krishna. Somebody asked me a question, I don't know when, last week or something. Somebody asked me a question, if we worship Lord Shiva, can we get liberation? What do you think?
Yes.
How many say no?
Depends on the mood.
Depends, huh? Depends, yeah.
On the mood.
On the mood we are. Okay, what mood?
We have to understand Lord Shiva's position in any devotion.
Same thing what he said. So, the answer is yes and no in one sense. Okay. If we consider Lord Shiva's position to be higher than Vishnu, then no. Right? If we consider Lord Shiva as Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu, the highest of Vaishnavas, yes. Because at the end of the day, it is mentioned, Prasangam Ajaram Pasam Atmana Kavyo Vidhu Sa Eva Sadhushu Krito Moksha Dvaram Apavritam. If your attachment flows towards a pure Vaishnava, then the doors of liberation become automatically opened for you. For example, if your heart opens out to Ramanujacharya or Madhvacharya or Chaitanya or Mahaprabhu, Krishna himself, or if it opens out to Prabhupada, deep affection for Srila Prabhupada, or for your own spiritual master, then it opens the door for liberation. Or even for your God brothers who are more elevated to you, still it opens the door for liberation. Or even for a Vaishnava who may not be your God brother but very advanced, it opens the door for liberation. So any Vaishnava, if we are attached. Now what to speak of attachment to the highest Vaishnava, who is Lord Shiva? Why can't it give liberation in that case? Right? So in that way, if you understand, yes. But usually we saw, how do people worship Lord Shiva? By drinking bhang. Yeah, seriously. People drink bhang. Yeah? They say, and then people take ganja, saying that Shivji ne bhi kiya. Like that. But they really don't understand who is Lord Shiva. Okay? Because he smears his body with ashes, because he's got matted hair, we also try to look alike and do all those things. The only thing when they tell, अच्छा आप शिव के भक्त हो, हाँ जैसे शिव जी करते हैं हम भी वही करते हैं, आप पॉइजन पियोगे, नीलकंठ बनोगे, नहीं, हम सिर्फ भांग पियोगे. Correct? Lord Shiva, when the Amrit Mantra happened, what was the name of the poison? Anyone remember? Halahal poison. It came out and Lord Shiva took the whole poison first, so that then the nectar starts coming out, which was distributed to the demigods and it was snatched by the demons, but then later on given to the demigods by Mohini Avatar. But at that time it is mentioned that Lord Shiva drank all that poison and therefore his throat became blue, therefore he is called as Neelakanta. Sometimes in South India we name Neelakanta, which means blue-throated, Lord Shiva's name. So can you imitate Lord Shiva? Can you do like Lord Shiva? Only when it comes to ganja you are doing that. Now we have to also understand Lord Shiva behaves like that because he is in charge of delivering the people who are in the mode of ignorance. So when he has to deliver, he has to connect to those people. Right? You have to connect to those people. Right? Otherwise they can't relate to you. So he will go there and then slowly he will deliver it. So of course they are not talking Shiva Tattva now. He would have probably done it offline. Yeah.
So two questions from teaching perspective. One is, we know that Ganapati wrote Mahabharata and not Bhagavad. I mean, if somebody asks for scriptural reference, what do you mean for he writing Bhagavad Puran? It's only for the Mahabharata.
Bhagavatam also?
No, Mahabharata and Ramayana comes as Itihas, right? There are Puranas separate classes.
So what is the point? I don't understand.
No, like when we say Ganapati wrote Srimad Bhagavatam,
he scripted it. Yes, I have heard from the Acharyas.
So he is scripting Mahabharata, there are references.
Okay, homework for you. You find out the specific reference.
That's one question. Second question is, when we say that Vaishnava and Nakashamu, we say Shiva is the biggest Vaishnava. Then somebody can ask, if you are placing Srila Prabhupada on our altar, why not place Lord Shiva also on the altar?
Certainly you can.
The mode of devotee of.
Definitely you can. Why not? Why not? You can.
Can I add some?
You can place Hanumanji on the altar. Why not? Why not? 1 minute. I'll just answer this question first, then I'll come to the point. Okay. But please understand, if somebody says you don't have Lord Shiva on the altar, that is not correct. Who was Advaita Acharya? There he is. He's already there. Right? See, please understand why we don't specifically place. If you place, nothing is wrong. So we need to really understand this point. Okay. Now when you are starting a new program, don't tell this. People will run away because new program is fanatics will come there with all preconceived notions. Okay. They will say बुरा लग गया, अगला program में नहीं आऊँगा. They will talk like that. So don't do this in new programs. Okay. But really, if you are in this program, we can discuss all those things. Okay. We have to understand. यदि गौर न होई तो ताबे की होई तो केमोने धरितां दे राधार महिमा प्रेम रस सीमा जगते जानत के. What is the movement we are in? What is the movement we are in? That's all? Krishna Prem?
Following the footsteps of Radharani.
Correct. We are following the footsteps of Srimati Radharani. This is the highest perfection of Bhakti. Cultivating Madhurya Ras. Okay, now this you can't explain in a new program. Nobody will understand. Okay. So, preaching is according to time, place and circumstance. Okay. But for this class, we understand that Lord Shiva himself wants to get into the Rasa Leela. You know that. That's why he is called as Gopeshwar Mahadev. Right? Okay, so he also wants to enter the pastimes. But Goswamis automatically enter the pastime. So something which is available to the Goswamis is available to Lord Shiva in a different way. Does it make sense? He's still Vaishnavana Meta Shambhu, but his actual mode is different. Whereas we are following the footsteps of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So it is the mellow or rasa where it becomes different. So it's an apt question for this discussion. In Nectar of Devotion we can discuss all these things. When we are discussing Bhagavad Gita also we will not discuss these intricacies. Okay? Okay. So you had a point.
No problem. I just wanted to add from the preaching perspective, this one is very, very important. Because in my earlier days, in Krishna Consciousness, I got really offended because, people really didn't have the knowledge, this knowledge. And I used to say like, he's the greatest Vaishnava. So when we talk about Vaishnava Prad, why wouldn't it? And then I had arguments about Lord Hanuman. I said, why wouldn't a devotee will be there? So like, in like a few 7, 8 years back. So from the preaching perspective, it's very, very important these things. Because a lot of people will go away. So my altar, like, somebody comes and I was talking to Prabhu last week in the car. And I said the same thing. I said, if somebody comes to my altar and if he says Lord Shiva and Lord Hanuman and he tells me like this is wrong, then I said, this whole preaching is wrong then because you don't have the understanding.
It's not wrong at all. Absolutely. Why should it be wrong?
So, like, Vaishnava Prad, like, I used to read, like, when I was young, I used to read about the Vaishnava Prad. There's a whole book on Vaishnava Prad for Lord Shiva. So, like, with that understanding, when you come and you say, like, you take that Vaishnava Prad to all the devotees, it makes perfect sense. Like, not to the highest, but, to all the Vaishnavas.
Yeah.
So, like, from preaching perspective, it's very, very important. Because a lot of people will go away.
Yeah. Okay. So bhakti, pure bhakti is only for Krishna. Vyavasayitmika buddhi ekeh kurunanda. Bahu shaka hi anantascha buddhayo avyavasayinam. Vyavasayitmika buddhi means single pointed devotion. Bahu shaka. Shaka means what? Branch. In India, Bombay we say Shiva Sena shaka. Shaka means many branch. Idhar bhi hai, udhar bhi hai, udhar bhi hai. So our buddhi is also Bahu Shaka. Tuesday worship this Lord, Thursday oh Bhagwan, Friday iske liye upvas karo. Bahu Shaka hi anantascha buddhayo avyavasayinam. If we worship like that, then we will never get single pointed focus towards Lord Krishna in this lifetime. Therefore we have to focus. It takes many years to focus like that. So, Jnana Karmadi Anavritam Anukulena Krishna. So, all that is for the word Krishna. Anusila Nam. Bhakti. Why do you say Anusila Nam?
Anushila is practice. So
it's cultivation.
Yeah, Anushila is practice.
Also we saw that Anya Abhilashita, I forgot that point. Why did we not say Anya Abhilasha? Why did we say Anya Abhilashita Sunyam? Why did we say like that?
Self-preservation.
Because the desire for self-preservation, if you are in a danger, you call out to the Lord to protect your material body. You cannot say, hey, kya hai, bhakti nahi. You are protecting your material body. This is not bhakti. No. There is an exception for that. For example, if you are traveling and some rock is coming down and you are praying, oh Lord, please save me. Lord is not going to say, kya hai, to bhakti nahi. Obviously, that's a natural instinct of a human being for self-preservation. Because why? Vaishnavas live to serve the Lord. So Vaishnava's fear about death is only one thing. Oh my dear Lord, if at all we don't want to die, why we don't want to die? For the only reason because we have not perfected our life. That's all. Otherwise, it's okay. Anyway, what is there in this life? Correct? So Vaishnavas want to live because while living they want to serve the Lord and the devotees and perfect their lives and then go back to Godhead. Right? So for a Vaishnava, the desire to or a prayer to protect one's body, in a calamity situation is not called as bhakti. Okay? For example, when Draupadi raised her hands, we discussed last class. Okay? And she prayed to Lord Krishna to protect her chastity when Dushashan was disrobing her. At that time, that we cannot say, oh no, that is not bhakti. In fact, that is also bhakti. Why do you think otherwise we say Hare Krishna like this? When I went to ISKCON temple first, I said, तुम लोग हाथ क्यों उठाते हो? ऐसा नहीं कर सकते. Obviously, where we come from. So, then people are doing like this, Hare Krishna like that. And then somebody told me, because Draupadi, this means what? I don't have anything and nobody. And when you go to the police also you don't go like this. No? You go like this to police? Here? No. What will you do? He said, boss, kuch nahi hai mere paas. I am not going to, I don't have anything, I am completely surrendering to you. So this is the same thing, surrendering to the Lord, which means I don't rely on anything. Okay? My mind, body, words, everything is yours. You use me as you desire. That is called as surrender. That's why we raise our hands and chant loudly. Okay? So anukulyena, so that's clear. So anyabrihta shunyam jnana karmadi anavritam anukulyena Krishna anusilanam. Anusilanam means cultivation. So bhakti process is a systematic cultivation. So we saw aspects of cultivation also. Cultivation means what? Knowing the level at which a person is in his devotional life and connecting to that person at that level. एक भी level ऊपर गया तो connection गया. Okay. So you have to really read the person and then connect to that person at that level. Okay. And that we will get by practicing, by preaching, by connecting with people. Then you will know how to connect with someone. It's not diplomacy. Please understand. It is not diplomacy. It is a sincere desire to connect to a person, to give them Krishna consciousness. It's, for example, if a teacher is saying that, my dear children, today I am going to teach you 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers. Okay? And then another teacher comes, like, क्या है यार, quadratic equation क्यों नहीं सिखा रहे हो? You are being too diplomatic with the children. You know? Is that diplomacy? No, I'm trying to connect. If you tell twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. You know, what twinkle, twinkle, little star. Stars are not little. Stars are many times that of the sun. Don't you know? I am coming from NASA. You know. So you are being diplomatic with the children. Huh? You are just telling twinkle, twinkle, little and all that. So but you can't connect to a child otherwise. To a child you can only define star by saying twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. So therefore, in preaching we have to know, slowly we give higher and higher and higher instruction. Just imagine in the first Bhaktivedanta program, kal se koi daru nahi piyega. Half the people will not come. Correct? Nobody will take non-veg. Nobody will watch cinema. Bolega to half crowd will go. Full, everybody will go. Nobody take a vow that nobody will watch T20 from tomorrow. Okay, मैं नहीं आ सकता है. Bro, please माफ कर दीजिए. अब भक्ति तो है, हम घर में करेंगे.
You won't say even Prabhuji.
You won't say Prabhuji also. Thank you, nice prasadam meal. Katha में आनंद आया. People will run away. So धीरे. All right. So cultivation. So that is called a systematic cultivation. And in cultivation we have to be patient. Why we have to be patient with people? Because somebody was patient with us. In fact, today morning in the class, Bhagavatam class, I was mentioning Prakasharand Saraswati, he established the right mood of preaching. Preaching mood means we become the servants of the people who we preach to. We are their servants. We are not their masters simply because we know 2 shlokas more than them. We are their servants. In that mood we serve them and we pray to the Lord that they become higher devotees than what we are. Okay? And then we pray after that by their mercy then may we also be delivered. Okay? This is the mood of a preacher. Okay? So in this mood if we do, then you will automatically find you are connecting to people, you are touching people's hearts. Any condescending attitude towards people, saying that I am senior, you are junior, it will not work. It just does not work in this world. Nobody wants to be controlled in this world. But everyone wants to be loved. Everyone wants to be loved. But nobody wants to be controlled. And why should we try and control? There is only one controller. That position is already taken. Correct? So we don't have to fight for that position. So, these are the aspects of cultivation. Cultivating devotees. So everyone is clear? PhD on this verse now? Yes.
In this verse, Anushya means like connecting with other people, not connecting with Krishna.
Cultivation. Okay. It involves self-cultivation also. We have to also allow ourselves to be cultivated. Sorry, I went too much into the preaching mode. So we have to allow ourselves also to be cultivated. Again, this morning I was explaining from the verse Gunadikan Mudam Lipset Anukrosham Guna Adhamat Maitrin Samanad Anvichen Na Tapay Abhibhudhyate. Which means that we have to, devotees are at 3 levels. From our reference point, from anybody's reference point, there are 3 types of devotees. People who are more advanced than us, people who are our peers, and people who are less advanced than us. Okay. So, we have to allow people who are more advanced than us to cultivate us. For which, what do we need with them?
Their mercy, and now we have to serve them.
Relationship.
Oh, you're wrong.
अरे जहाँ रिश्ता नहीं वहाँ कहाँ दिल का बात होगा, right? We need relationship with them. It's very simple, right? So if we want to serve senior devotees, we have to establish relationship. If there is no relationship, nobody will tell you what to do, right? Suppose you tell someone, प्रभु जी थोड़ा bucket ऊपर लेके जाना, क्या बोला? आपने लेके जा सकते हो क्या? Next time you will go to him. नहीं भाई नहीं आप मैं ही लेके जाता हूँ, right? Now there is no relationship. When there is a relationship, or somebody is smoking outside the temple, your Bhaktivedanta Swami member is smoking outside the temple. Okay. If you go and say, अरे प्रभु जी कैसे हो यार? यार अरे छोटा मार रहे हो, चलो आ जाओ, चलो उधर जरा walk को जाते हैं. Take him at least away from the temple first. Okay. बाद में बोलने का प्रभु जी उधर इधर करते हैं ना, इधर छोटा मारेंगे. तो अभी ये तो नहीं बोला. You can't smoke outside the temple. Don't you know that? If you tell like that, oh, what is this? It's a public place. I'm standing on the pavement. It's outside the premises of the temple. Legally, I can smoke. He'll talk all those language, right? And you know that he is not accepting your authority. But then after some time, if you know him very well, then you can tell, Prabhuji, yahan kya chota maar rahe ho, wahan maro jaake. You know? I'm just saying that if you know that devotee, rishta ban gaya hai, then utna offense nahi lagta hai. Just like a friend. You know, when you have a relationship, you can speak whichever you want. You don't Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I accept my obeisances at your lotus feet. So you talk like that with friends in your temple. Correct? And he'll say, kya ho gaya bhai, theek to ho. Just like to Maharajas, we don't go and go and shake their hand. Which is what I did actually in my initial days of Krishna. When I met the first Vaishnava saint, I went and shook hands with him. It was in Ahmedabad. Okay, so don't do that also, and don't do this extreme also. Hare Krishna, Pamho, AGTSP, your humble servant. Okay. Just be natural, that's all. With peers, Maitrim Samanad. Maitri, friendship. Bindas, natural. And with seniors, respectful and service. With peers, friendship and natural. With juniors, careful and kind. But be careful. Be careful. Know very well कि कितना रिश्ता है, उससे ज़्यादा मत डालो. You have to always, when you keep your foot in the water, you should know what is the
level of the water.
Depth. No, Tamil में वैसे आड़ दरिया का काला होके बुढ़ा. Don't know the depth before you. So know कितना तक अभी relationship हुआ है, उतना हद तक की instruction. But on the other side, if we, which means if I am the junior and there is a senior, whose responsibility it is to connect to the senior devotees? It's my responsibility. Okay, so we should always try and serve the senior devotees to connect so that we are able to receive instruction. And always maintain the potential difference. We discussed that also. Without potential difference, current does not flow. Right? So if slowly the devotee starts thinking, आप भी 16 मारा कर रहे हो, मैं भी पहुंच गया हूँ 16 में, आज से हम लोग equal. If he talks like that, then there is no potential. लोग बोलते हैं अच्छा ठीक है भाई equal, अरे बोल. like that. It happens sometimes. I remember one of my Bhaktivedanta Krishna members came to 16 rounds and thoda alag hi chal chalan ho gaya uska. He was like, now what do I have to, what to do? Now I have already reached 16, probably 16, maybe 16, right? So I channelized him to another program. Okay? And then he flourished like anything after that. Okay? And then he came back after 2-3 years and said, abhi samajh mein aa gaya. Right? So you will not, so there has to be, so as a junior devotee, we have to maintain, otherwise that will not flow. Potential different, water only flows from higher level to lower level. The moment you raise this, then water stops flowing then. After that, right? So we have to maintain. Then only Siksha will flow from top. So these are various things. So these are aspects of cultivation. So cultivation means we also have to allow ourselves to be cultivated by our seniors as much as we must also try and cultivate people who are in Krishna consciousness. It's a continuous process. As preachers now, coming back to your position as a preacher, always try to think that you are the servant. But if they understand it in a way that they also become very pali, it is good for you as a preacher because aapka ego nahi badega usse. But it is not good for them in their devotional because they have now trying to, so we have to always remember, otherwise we will not progress in bhakti. Okay? Because there is a mood which is required for performing devotional service and we have to really understand that mood. Pranadapi Sunichena, roar your side. Amanina Manadina. It's being hammered and hammered and hammered in our mind. So we have to keep on considering ourselves as servant of. All right. On. Any question? Okay. So we'll come to the next chapter of Nectar of Devotion, which is called as characteristics of 6 characteristics of devotional service. So everyone has copied this by now? Yeah. I'm going to rub this because need the board. Okay. There are 6 characteristics of devotional service. And what are these? These are the stages of bhakti. Okay. Before I go to this, I will quickly give us walkthrough of this. Most of you know that, but because there are some new people, I am going to just give them for you it may be a refresher. What are the different stages of bhakti through which you will progress? Okay. The first stage of bhakti is called as Shraddha. Now, in one sense, I was hearing a lecture by Radhesham Prabhu and he was saying that there is a 0th stage of bhakti. Do you know what is 0th stage of bhakti? Before Shraddha? What is it? Apply your knowledge, apply your principles which you learned in Bhagavad Gita.
The initial interest to show.
How will that come?
Knowledge.
Shukriti. Exactly. Shukriti. So that is the 0th stage. In one sense, that is the 0th stage. Okay. Shraddha means faith. Shraddha means what? Faith in Krishna. Right? Where does that come from? Kahan se aata hai wo faith? Because we are saying that is the first stage of bhakti. If we don't have faith, we are wasting time. Right? Faith ही नहीं है. मुझे नहीं पता क्या मालूम भगवान है नहीं है. लोग बोलते हैं कुछ कोई बोलता है भागवतम स्क्रिप्चर है मुझे क्या मालूम. So to people who do not have faith, what should we do? Leave them alone. पीछे मत पड़ो किसी के. बस करना है आ जाओ. नहीं है तो be happy, enjoy the material world, be caught in the cycle of birth. तुमको मजा आ रहा है तो ठीक है ना. उसको मजा आ रहा है तो अपने को क्या प्रॉब्लम? करेक्ट. Why you are better? Somebody told me. आप लोग ISKCON में क्यों हमेशा मिजरी बोलते हो? Every time. अरे मैं खुश हूँ ना भाई. तुमको क्या प्रॉब्लम है? तुम बोलते हैं बर्थ दिस इज ओल्ड एज. अभी है ना. क्या है तो है. अभी तो तो आप लोग ISKCON में ऐसे क्यों बोलते हो? Of course, there is one more person also. He said, "Must be positive." He was one of those grammar school types. No? Let me see positive. Positive outlook, not negative. So, all these people, Madan Chikna and just leave them alone. If somebody is down to earth, tell them something. Otherwise, छोड़ दो. Leave them to their fate. Okay? Okay? So, Bhakti starts with faith. Now, the zeroth stage is where does this faith by default come from? For example, I don't know, but most of us, would you admit that you had some faith since your childhood?
Yes.
कहाँ से है?
Previous life.
Did you go for Bhakti Sastri class? No. Right? That was after many years of roaming around everywhere. Right? Huh? Huh? TVs. TVs. सब हुए थे. जय संतोषी माँ. चना खाने लगे. चना यो. संतोषी माँ का चना दे इसके लिए नजदीक. Okay. So, this is explained very nicely in Madhurya Kadamini. Okay. If you want to read this, I would strongly suggest you all read. Okay. Because now you have already studied Bhagavad Gita, so you can read Madhurya Kadamini. So go ahead and have a look at the first shower of Madhurya Kadamini. There are various showers in Madhurya Kadamini. If you read, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that how does bhakti or shraddha come inside someone? It is transferred. Bhakti is transferred from the heart of one person into the heart of another person. Does it make sense? That is what Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says. He is analyzing, is the Lord partial or impartial? Because we all know whoever gets bhakti will be delivered from the cycle of birth, disease, old age, death. Is this clear? This everyone knows, right? Now the question is, why do some people get bhakti and why do some people not get bhakti? What is the answer? Which means God is partial. Someone can conclude that way, right? If he wants to. Because bhakti comes from God only. That means if I don't have bhakti, that means he is impartial. Sorry, he is partial. मुझे दिया है तो मैं क्या करूँ? इसलिए मैं नहीं पाऊँ. So he is responsible. So people may put the responsibility on the Lord for they not being devotees. Like many times, in the programs, people say, कब आ रहे हो अंकल जी प्रोग्राम के लिए? जब प्रभु की इच्छा होगी हम आएंगे. Like that. People always typical reply. Every program you go typical reply. जब प्रभु की इच्छा होगी हम आएंगे. But for other things, प्रभु की इच्छा के लिए वेट नहीं करते हैं. When the wife has to go to Myers for shopping, they say, कब जा रहे हो Myers? Boxing Day है कल. नहीं, Boxing Day होगा तो क्या हुआ? प्रभु की इच्छा जब होगी तब shopping करेंगे. ऐसा कोई नहीं बोलता ना. So only when it comes to temple, then प्रभु जब बुलाएंगे हम आएंगे. People talk like that. So which means that I am not responsible for my lack of interest in bhakti. Prabhu is responsible. Lord Krishna is responsible because I don't want to do bhakti. So you can live comfortably with your materialistic way of life without guilt consciousness. This is, everyone wants to live without guilt, though they may do the wrong activities, right? So they will give tasalli to their mind. No, what is tasalli ko kya bolta hai? Consolation to their own mind, like that. So therefore, is the Lord partial or impartial? The Lord is obviously impartial. But then the Lord also says in Bhagavad Gita, na? How will you explain now? Lord is saying I am partial to my devotees in Bhagavad Gita. So Lord partial or impartial? What do you think?
Impartial for the common level.
Impartial for the common level. Partial for the special level.
Lord is impartial because he will give more mercy to people who are
So let us put it this way. When there is rain, it doesn't see, Telangana mein nahi girunga, khali Andhra mein girunga. Whenever there are chief ministers, so BJP is ruling, I will go there. Whereas, Telugu Desam is ruling, Barsat sab jagah. So like that, the Lord is showering bhakti on. For him there is nothing. He is unattached. He is Atmaram. he doesn't discriminate. But who discriminates? The devotee discriminates. किसको भक्ति देना चाहिए और किसको नहीं देना चाहिए. That's what we said, no? So prema, maitri, kripa, upeksha, yah karoti samadhyama. There are 3 types of devotees. We all know that. What are the 3 levels of devotees? Kanishta adhikari, which is the neophyte devotee, madhyama adhikari, and then uttama adhikari. Right? 3 levels of devotees. Kanishta adhikari does not know how to behave with juniors, seniors. किसी के साथ भी कुछ भी behave करता है. Many times we have gone through that, no? When Maharaj is giving a class at the end of the day, at the end of the class he asks any questions and we say, Prabhuji, correct? And then someone says, hey, Maharaj bol. Maharaj. So this is a new stage of Krishna consciousness. For example, I went to, in my new stage also, I with a mustache I went to Maharaj, very proudly, showing my, what is that? Like a firefly shows its light in front of the sun, like that. So we always have a desire to catch the attention of senior devotees and impress them. So this is there. And in neophyte stage, we also, of course we are all neophytes in one sense, but obviously we have to give credit to our acharyas that they have cultivated us for some years. So all glories to them. But at the same time, when you are very, very raw, so there are so many things that we used to do, which we may not do now. I remember running behind Maharaj, like that. And then he was walking, he looked once, and then he continued walking, and I also continued chasing. And then I caught up with him and said, Maharaj, you remember me? We met in United States. Thankfully, he didn't ask, so what? He didn't ask that. He was very merciful. He said, oh, very nice. He said like that. But then I realized that nobody, यहाँ पे कोई भाग नहीं रहा, सिर्फ मैं ही भाग रहा हूँ. Something wrong with them, something wrong with me. And then I realized, oh, no, yeah, this is not the way one should approach spiritual master. Spiritual master is you have to serve and wait for the mercy to come. So a Kanishta adhikari doesn't know how to behave with senior devotees at all. In one sense, he doesn't know the rationale behind discrimination. Who is senior, who is junior, कुछ पता नहीं उसको, नया है, सब चलता है. A madhyama adhikari, okay, a madhyama adhikari distinguishes. He has to. Why does a madhyama adhikari have to distinguish? Because what is the service of a madhyama adhikari? Preaching. The moment you become a preacher, then you can. It is generally said that a preacher is one who is madhyama adhikari. By preaching, one comes from out of the kanishta level to the madhyama level. Because why? When you are sitting on the other side of the audience, you are always waiting for love to come. But when you go on the preaching side, then everybody is looking at you, boss, what can you do for me? No? Correct, no? Then you are thinking, Arey boss, I am sitting in this chair, now what do I do? Now all their Krishna consciousness, all their problems they will tell me now. And I am expected to facilitate their Krishna consciousness, cultivation. So suddenly the tables are turned and then suddenly the devotee becomes, the growth is much faster as a preacher. So a Kanishta adhikari doesn't know how to discriminate. A Madhyama adhikari knows how to discriminate, and he uses that discrimination to discriminate between who is senior, who is peer, and who should be preached to. And that is required. That sense of discrimination is required. Right? We don't go and preach to senior devotees. For example, some senior devotee is having a headache, and we go and tell them, yeah, you are not the body, you are the soul. Don't you know that? We don't do all those things. I am just giving a very crude example. So we don't. So a Madhyama adhikari knows over time what to do and what not to do. Okay? And a Madhyama adhikari chooses those people who are less advanced but who are interested in Krishna consciousness to go out of his way, connect with them and to give them, to facilitate their Krishna consciousness. Okay? So he distinguishes. And Uttama adhikari, what does he do? Uttama adhikari has one problem. He thinks he is the most fallen, and even the drunkard on the road is more advanced than him. So he is so humble that he does not preach to anyone. If the Uttama adhikaris don't preach, then what will happen? How will we get knowledge? Right? Sometimes we ask people, Prabhu, next Saturday class doge? Oh no, Prabhu, I am fallen. Duniya varga, all those things. If you always consider yourself fallen, then when will you give class? Someone went and told Prabhupada, I am very fallen. He said, I know that. Do something about it. I am fallen, I am humble, whatever. Do something about it then. Prabhu, I don't have enough knowledge to give class. Then take the book, get the knowledge and give a class. It's as simple as that. Correct, no? When we go into university, we don't say, I am very fallen to get into physics course. Do we say like that? To get into IIT, everyone likes. We don't say, I am fallen. No, it's not like that. So, when it comes to only these things, then we are saying we are fallen and unqualified and disqualified. Otherwise, we don't feel that we are disqualified. So, therefore, of course, this is not Uttamadhikari mentality. But an Uttamadhikari genuinely thinks, because in his other behaviors also he manifests that attitude that I am the most fallen, I have no bhakti in me. If you see the poems of the Acharyas, always they will write, I have never done Radha Krishna na bhajila, janiya, suniya, vishakhan. Who was that? Who read? Narottam Das Thakur. Narottam Das Thakur is writing that poem. That I have been drinking the poison of material life and I have not developed any bhakti in this lifetime. This is called as Uttamadhikari. Now when he is on that platform, it's very difficult then to preach. So therefore in the Isopanisad it is mentioned that the Uttamadhikari comes down to the platform of Madhyamadhikari to preach. Right? And when the Madhyamadhikari starts preaching with a sincere desire that people must get attracted towards Krishna, then he takes the love which he has inside his heart for Krishna and puts it inside the other person's heart. That is how bhakti transmits from one devotee to another devotee. Okay? And Shraddha therefore develops in another devotee. Lo bhai, lo, muft mein de raha hun, le lo. Ko charge kiya? Muft. Le lo. So this is the compassion of a Madhyamadhikari, that he gives the bhakti to next person. So this is what Madhurya Kadambini mein Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is writing in the first chapter. So he says that Lord Krishna is impartial, but the devotee of Lord Krishna is partial. Who is that? Madhyamadhikari. Uttamadhikari will not discriminate. Madhyamadhikari discriminates. So that is why preaching. What is preaching movement? What is Bhakti Visha movement? Take the love which you have for the Lord and give it to everyone, free of cost, and encourage them, facilitate them to come to Krishna consciousness and live a happier life.
Devotee is not partial, it's dependent on the person who is going to receive it. When we say devotee is partial, that means devotee is not giving to some people.
Yes, devotee is not giving to somebody. Yes, devotee is partial. Prema, Maitri, Kripa, Upeksha. It's not only Prema, Maitri, Kripa. Yaha karoti samadhyama. Prema, Maitri, Kripa, Upeksha. Yaha karoti. Upeksha karna means what?
This is not.
Kuch nahi karta. I don't want to talk with you. Madhyamadhikari has to do that. For example, somebody continuously comes to the Bhakti Visha class and keeps on arguing the same point again and again and again. Mujhe nahi karna hai, nahi karna hai. Just leave them. That's why I said no, leave them alone. So it's a Madhyamadhikari also knows how to leave people alone.
But that's not because of the devotee that is not trying to give. That's because the person is not ready to receive.
That is upeksha. Upeksha, leave those people alone who are not interested in Krishna.
That's because the other person is not interested. It's not because the devotee is partial.
No. Please understand. Prema, Maitri, Kripa, Upeksha means there is a partiality. In one sense, then the devotee does not go out of the way for people who are not interested in Krishna consciousness, because it constitutes the, which offense is that? 6th or 7th offense? 9th offense. Preaching to a faithless person. We don't do that. We don't do that, because if we do that, then apna khud ka bhi damadol ho jayega sadhana. If we keep running, and we don't want to cheapen the process of Krishna consciousness, right? By going on telling people who are not interested, Okay, we try and facilitate, but at the end of the day, then if they are not interested, enjoy and suffer. Prabhupada said like that once. One fisherman got out a big fish and he told Prabhupada, you want? Prabhupada said, no, you enjoy. Prabhupada said. And then slowly he said, and suffer. Well, obviously there will be karmic reaction for that. Okay. Now why did we come to that point? We came to that point because there is a 0th level here, and that is called as Shukriti. So that Shraddha comes inside us because some devotee is praying fervently to the Lord that Lord, अच्छा family है, नया है Krishna Consciousness में, अभी कर दो ना, please allow me to direct them to you, my dear Lord, please empower me to do that. Somehow they should be attracted to you, like that. So the prayer of a Vaishnava for somebody else can make that person a devotee. If that person is, all that person has to come with an open mind. That's all. Right? Sometimes, even after that, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. That is because, as Kadambakaran Maharaj once told in a lecture, that there are two kinds of wood. Wood which has got 0 moisture content and wood which has got moisture content to various degrees. Okay. Sometimes you may find that you are trying to cultivate someone, but बहुत slow है. One round में अभी 6 महीना, 1 साल हो गया, 2 round में आया. Like that. Very slow progress. Why? Don't think they are not progressing. They are progressing. But what's happening? You know, this is the concept of latent heat. In what is that? Thermodynamics. What subject was that? Forgot. What is latent heat? Thermodynamics. Okay. So latent heat means what? You keep heating the substance, but when the substance is changing its state from one form to the other, its temperature doesn't go up. That's called latent heat, no? Yeah, I think it was called latent heat. Okay, so latent heat means that the object, the vastu, is not changing its form from solid to liquid or liquid to gaseous. Correct, Krishna Prabhu? Science, you are the authority. Rajkumar Prabhu is there, where is he? Hey Prabhu, what is it? The greatest scientist is sitting here. Correct, no? Latent heat is that one. Okay. So latent heat means that the object is not changing its temperature, it's only changing its state. When it changes its state, the temperature doesn't go up. I'm pretty confident, I think. This was a concept. No, I agree with you. You're right. Okay. So why did I say this?
No.
So when we are preaching to a devotee, and they are not increasing their chanting or whatever, don't think that they are not advancing. It simply means that the moisture content is reducing. The process of drying that moisture in the wood is still continuing. You can't see it visibly. That's latent heat. Latent heat cannot be perceived, in that sense, in the rise in temperature. The moment all the moisture content goes away, then फट से पकड़ लेगा भक्ति. Then immediately you will find the devotee suddenly one day they saying, Prabhu, आज से 16 माला शुरू किया. अरे वाह! No, like that. That's how it happens. It happens with many devotees we have seen. It happened with me also. The Japanese devotees are shocked, 16 rounds were there, like that. Because when I went to Japan, they were fed up with me. 1.5 years they struggled with me. 1 round, 2 round. But what is the movie? Kabhi haan, kabhi na. Like that. Thak gaya. Naya goli I used to give them. And then when I went to Canada, Gopal Krishna Maharaj just one instruction. From tomorrow you will start 16 rounds. Yes, Maharaj. So by the mercy of a Vaishnava, anything is possible. Very quickly we can come to Krishna Consciousness. So Shraddha builds up, from Shukriti, like that. With faith, then the person starts associating more with devotees. That is the second stage. Shraddha, then Sadhu Sangha. Sadhu Sangha means association with devotees. And there is a key memory verse in Nectar of Devotion for you. You have to buy out these stages. Adho, Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, there is a verse. But if you know these stages, it's very easy to buy out the verse also. So Sadhu Sangha means association. So devotee comes to association, constant association. Initially they will be like Eid ka chand. You know what is Eid ka chand? They will come on special festivals, like that. But later on, what is the sign that somebody is advancing in? Let's say I'm giving a case study. You are Bhaktivedanta member. How do you know they are advancing? they will be seen more in the temple, and then they will not be seen in the evenings, they will be seen more in the mornings. That is a sign of, we all know that, that's all. When you start coming in the morning, what? It's like that. Because evening everyone comes. Morning, it's a serious group which is there, like that. Yeah? When they start coming for Bhagavatam classes and all that, then you generally have an idea that this devotee is now progressing very fast track mein, like that. So Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha and Bhajana Kriya. By Sadhu Sangha what happens? Our bhajan starts. Then we start chanting 1 round, then 2 rounds, then 3 rounds, so on, so on, so on, so 16, and sometimes we go overboard, and do 20, 21. Some of our Milpark, Bhaktivedanta members, 21. Ashok Prabhu was telling me yesterday, 21 rounds every day. So inspiring. Actually, even I am not chanting 21 rounds in a day. So when I heard him, I realized, Bhapre. Sometimes our Bhaktivedanta members can progress faster than us in Bhakti. Like that. And you can see that many times. Today morning also I was telling it in the class. Sometimes you may find that your Bhaktivedanta members are going ahead of you very fast. Because we don't know who comes for our programs. There may be someone who in the last lifetime have matured a lot. Maybe some vestiges of material attraction might be there, which will get burnt in this lifetime. So, then Bhajana Kriya. As we do Bhajana Kriya, the process of chanting, then what happens? Anartha Nivritti. Means all the impurities which are within the heart will go away gradually. Anartha Nivritti. Which means material attachments will go down gradually. I was telling in a program recently that happiness can be put in a formula. I don't think, even in point 2 also I probably mentioned this equation, but definitely I did it in this South Morang program last week. Happiness is equal to number of material desires fulfilled divided by number of material desires. Correct? If you have to put happiness in an equation, number of material desires fulfilled divided by number of material desires. So, what happens when you start doing Bhajana Kriya? The denominator reduces, and therefore happiness goes up. No longer you are too attached to that branded t-shirt and whatever. Or you only I should buy BMW car. Only I should have what is it? Modular kitchen which that shade and mera wala cream and tera wala जिंदगी में कुछ दिन रहना है. After a few days बुढ़ापा आ जाएगा. After that आँखों से दिखाई भी नहीं देगा. Cream है कौन सा कलर है? So this is the state of life. So what मेरा वाला cream तेरा वाला cream. The material body is rotting every day. We are one step closer towards death. So slowly devotees will start coming to those realizations and trying to simplify the life. Today only one of the devotees was mentioning that over a phone call that we want to come closer to the temple. They have a double-story house in the northern suburbs. So the devotee was very sincerely was praying that Prabhu, I and my wife have been discussing with our children, we want to move near the temple. Because I was telling him that we have to intensify our activities with the temple. Because we have very less time in this life. We don't realize death can come anytime. Time is running away. And there is lots and lots of anartha still inside the heart. The desire for puja, prestige, worship. All those things have to go. Lust, anger, envy, greed, pride. It's a lifetime. So therefore, slowly as people do Bhajana Kriya, they will come to the point of Anartha Nivritti, which means all that is troublesome to the heart will go away. And then devotee becomes fixed, Nishtha. Nishtha means what? Fixed in devotional service. Now the reason I am explaining this, because this has got something to do with this. There is a relationship between this and this. Nishtha means fixed in devotional service. It's not that Prabhu, कल रात को अभी क्या है बाहर गए थे डिनर के लिए इतना खाया प्रभु उतनी कोई नहीं हुआ सर प्रभु sorry for those of you who don't know Hindi I ate so much yesterday night Prabhu we were at dinners at this house and we ate so much that I got up at 7 o'clock today therefore Prabhu I don't think I'll be able to chant 16 rounds today so not like that. Nishtha means what? That even if you sleep at 1 o'clock, you still get up in the morning 4 o'clock to do your chanting, finish your 16 rounds in the morning. That is called as the platform of Nishtha. Nishtha means predictability. We become more predictable to Krishna. Because whenever we want Krishna, he has to be predictable. No? And the Lord says, Ye yatha mam prapadyante, the way you approach me, I will approach you. तुम casually आ रहा, मैं भी आराम से आऊँगा. जब प्रभु की इच्छा होगी तो हम आएंगे मंदिर, जब प्रभु की इच्छा होगी वो भी आएंगे जब आप तकलीफ में हो. चलेगा क्या ऐसा? Then you will want, अरे प्रभु जल्दी आओ यार, टाइम जाता है इधर. Correct? So ये यथा the way we approach, then the way that similar way Lord will reciprocate with us. Okay? So this is the platform of Nishtha. Nishtha means fixed determination. Consistency in bhakti. Consistency also means another thing. For example, we have seen in many programs, people say, "Kitna round chant kar rahe ho bhai?" 1 round. And after 1 week, anyone increase rounds? How much? 16. What do you think will happen? 3rd week में क्या होगा? प्रभु जी वो लास्ट वीक तो किया था, बट बाद में ऐसा मालूम नहीं, इतना मुश्किल हो रहा है. ये सीन, what is that called? A flash in the pan, like that, sudden spark. No? So people will go from 1 to 16 and from 16 to 0. And then there are those people, if you ask how many rounds you chant, 2 to 4. 2 to 4 क्या? बोलने का टाइम ऐसा 2 to 4. Which means they are chanting 0. Always understand. समय से 2 से 4 राउंड करता हूँ मिनिमम. मिनिमम कैसा 2 नंबर हो सकता है? अरे 2 कर रहे हैं या 4 कर रहे हैं? या नहीं कर रहे? Then they say, नहीं usually करता हूँ 2 से 4 राउंड, कभी कभी छोड़ जाता है. Which means minimum is what then? Then it is not 2, it is 0. So that is not Nishtha. Better off are those devotees who are 1, stay steady in 1, then move to 2, never come down, go to 3, never come down. And a good idea is to increase 1 round per Ekadashi. That's what we say.
That's the best thing. That's the best.
That's the best. That's how we do. Most of us came to 16 rounds like that. So slowly come, or at least once in a month, at least in a year you can come to 12. Alright, so that is Nishtha, not falling down from your current level. Even in terms of principles, not that now we are slackening, we had left something and again we have started doing that, then that is not Nishtha. That is still another. So it takes sometimes lifetime in Anartha Nivritti itself. But on top of that there are so many levels. Nishtha. Nishtha means determination. And once we are determined in doing something, only then when we get taste for doing the chanting. When you get taste, somebody doesn't have to tell you, Prabhu, would you like some gulab jamun or better you don't want it? Obviously, you will not say, what is this kind of offer? So therefore, when you have ruchi, taste of something, then you will not say, oh, do I have to chant 16 rounds? You will say, how can I not chant 16 rounds? I mean, the first thing is that I'll go. And to some extent, once in Toronto, when Kadambakana Maharaj was doing the seminar for us, I asked Kadambakana Maharaj, does it go step 1, step 2, step 3? What is the answer? I told you in an earlier class. It is not step, it is like a graphic equalizer, It goes up and down. You turn on the music.
The same example.
So all of us have ruchi to some extent. Even if you are chanting 1 round, kuch ruchi to hai, thoda bahut ruchi hai. A person usually when they start chanting and when they start coming into the association of devotees, when they go away from Krishna consciousness, ज़्यादा दिन नहीं टिकेंगे उधर. They'll come back because they know what the outside world is, right? So then they'll come back because there is a taste which they have developed for bhakti. So usually people don't go forever. They may even go for 5 years, but still after that they'll come back. दुनिया घाट का दूध पिएंगे, मार खाएंगे, फिर आएंगे, like that. Because we know there is nothing in the outside world. There is no philosophy like this in the outside world, which will give you any kind of happiness. Everything is just temporary. So, ruchi means taste. So once a person gets taste, then the person need not be told to chant. Automatically the person does. So, and then there is asakti. Asakti means what? Intense attachment. Intense attachment. Taste ek hai. I like mango because of its taste is one level of attraction. But I am attached to mangoes. That's a different level. Attachment हो गया अभी. mangoes ko, which means I can't live without mangoes. It's like that. So I can't live without Krishna. It's like that. Or his devotees, asakti, attachment. It is also mentioned that at this stage of asakti, I remember I had told this in the class before also in Bhagavad, the excellence of elements do not matter in bhakti. At the stage of asakti, the excellence of elements do not matter anymore. What do you mean by that? Anyone remembers? Elements.
It doesn't matter if somebody is doing kirtan, whether they have good katha player or whatever.
Correct. So usually what happens, many times we come for the Bhagavatam class. ऐसा दरवाजा खोल के रखना है. कौन लेक्चर दे रहा है भाई? अच्छा ये. Correct. और कीर्तन कोई कर रहा है. कौन अभी कीर्तन कर रहा है? 24 hour slot. Somebody will be singing, you know, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. बाद में आते हैं. When Madhav Prabhu comes, तब आते हैं. And when Kadamakaran Maharaj is doing kirtan, that damn मजा आएगा. बहुत नाचेंगे, no, like that. So our nature is like that. Okay, that we want excellence of elements for to get motivated in bhakti. तो एकदम ऐसा जगजीत सिंह जैसा आवाज होना चाहिए. Then only I will hear kirtan. But otherwise I am not interested. Correct? This is not the stage of asakti. In asakti, the excellence of elements don't matter. Okay. The moment even a Besura person is singing Hare Krishna, you will say, "Kya bola? Wapas bolna? Hare Krishna." No, like that. Which means you are searching. Everything is reminding you of Krishna now. You want to associate with anything that says Krishna, right? So the excellence of elements in bhakti do not matter at the stage of asakti. And then a devotee comes to the stage of bhav. Bhav means what? Not bhav karne ka. Not that bhav. Bhav stage mein. No, not that. Bhava means what? Ecstasy. Bhava means devotional service and ecstasy. So we saw 3 types of bhakti when we started Nectar of Devotion. What are the 3 types of bhakti? Sadhana bhakti, Bhava bhakti and Prema bhakti. So this is the Bhava. All this will be under
Sadhana.
Not necessarily, you can say like largely.
Until at least Nishta.
Yeah, all this necessary. It could be Raga, Nuga or Vaidi, that's a different thing. Okay. But all this will come largely under Sadhana bhakti. And then Bhava bhakti and finally Prema bhakti. Bhava bhakti means ecstasy. Bhakti in ecstasy. Always you are ecstatic. Oh, when will the alarm ring at 4 o'clock? Hands up if anyone thinks like that. In the morning. Hare, bach gaya alarm. So when you start thinking, ये alarm बजता क्यों नहीं है? When will the time come that I am sitting for chanting? Then you are in. Yes! You get on your money. That is called as Bhava. Actually it is like that. Actually I'm not qualified to even talk on that subject matter because I am not out of the level. But whatever I am talking is from reading Krishna Chakravarti Thakur Madhurya Kadamini. Okay? And then there is Prema. Prema is love. Ecstasy and love. The beauty of love is that even when there is no ecstasy, you will do it. Does it make sense? प्रेम मतलब क्या है? मजा आए या ना आए. Mother and child. Again the same example. Whether you like it, whether you don't like it, love is flowing for the child. That is prema. Right? So it's no longer about me, my ecstasy, my taste, nothing like that. It's no longer about me. It's only about the Lord. We will do separately. We can do a seminar on that topic later. We'll invite some senior devotee. I'm not qualified to speak on that subject matter, though I have studied it. So we'll invite some. I'll invite Keshav Prabhu or someone to do that seminar for us. We'll invite some guest lecturer. Alright. Now today we have another 15-20 minutes. So we will start this topic. 6 characteristics of devotional service. So whenever someone does bhakti, then you will find that these things are happening in your life. That is why they are called as the 6 characteristics of devotional service. Bhakti का nature ही ऐसा है. The nature of bhakti is right. So it's called a characteristic of bhakti. Okay. The first is called as Klesha Agni. The first characteristic of bhakti is Klesha Agni. Klesha Agni means that bhakti gives relief, immediate relief from material distress. Immediate means not tomorrow. Immediate means in the whole, because millions of lifetimes we have been doing sins. No? Immediate means at least in few lifetimes now you are back to God. Today morning I was also explaining this in Srimad Bhagavatam class, that we are in that section where there is a conversation that is happening between Uddhava and Lord Krishna on the banks of the river Saraswati, where Lord Krishna has come to wind up his pastimes in the material world. Is it clear? So, Lord Krishna is glorifying Uddhava. What is he saying to Uddhava? So how many of you attended morning Bhagavatam class in this room? You are there. Today we had a very thin attendance. I don't know why. Very few people are there. So, Lord Krishna is telling Uddhava, my dear Uddhava, I know that you are different from other devotees. You are there in the class. No. I know you are different from other devotees because most of the devotees are Mishri Bhaktas. What is Mishri Bhakta? Mishri Bhakta means one leg in material world, one leg in spiritual, which means coming to temple and going to cinema also. This is called as what? At a very gross level this is Mishri Bhakta. But even if you are not going to cinema, we still want little bit enjoyment, little bit internet browsing, little bit Facebook, thoda Twitter, thoda everything you want thoda. So this is called as Mishri or mixed devotee. So Lord Krishna is telling Uddhava that you are an exalted devotee. I know it because you are not interested in dharma, artha, kama and moksha. You are not interested in religiosity, you are not interested in economic development, you are not interested in sense gratification, and you are not interested in liberation. Okay, so I know that you are not interested in any of these. Okay. And therefore, my dear Uddhava, therefore, it will be your last birth. How nice it is, no? If Lord Krishna came and told us, boss, last birth. Today only I was talking to Ashok Prabhu, for a long time. Because Ashok Prabhu is our Nectar devotee, many of you know. So his son is doing VC, 12th standard exams. So I asked how was his exams. He said yes, he has done 3 papers. Maths, methods 1, 2 and specialist maths. He has finished part 1. And then I was thinking, boss, both of us are thinking, he told me that it's very stressful because children go through a lot of stress. The whole career is dependent on your VC marks here. If you don't get into a good university, then job ka Chantan Gopal, right? You don't get a proper job here. So, really the market is, how it is. But I was thinking that all of us, if we come back into this material world, फिर से exam लेना पड़ेगा. I can't imagine, going through school and studying for the 10th standard, what is an ion and what is atom, molecule. My God, enough of that. Right? Anyone want to do that? No. Come back again and start. A for apple. Riya, you love going to school? Yeah? You don't want vacations?
Well, I want vacation.
You want vacation also? So again we have to come back and study. Actually, I was thinking like that. Again, coming back and doing specialist maths and maths methods, and then going through the uncertainty. God knows. At least this time we studied and came to Australia. Next lifetime, God knows what will happen. What if we fail? Correct? So nobody wants to go through all that. Anyone wants to really think about it. We really want to go through that academic system again. Huh? What is that Alexander, which year he invaded India and all that useless information. Right? All that you cram, and then you have to anxiety, comparison. Aapke bachche ko kitna hai? Then peda, the neighbor, will come and give peda, and then your mother will give once. Dekha usko. 99 le gaya hai. Go back to Godhead in this very lifetime. So we have to promise this part of it. So, why did I say this?
Uddhava.
So Uddhava. So Lord Krishna is telling Uddhava, you are not that kind of Mishri Bhakta. So you will go back to Godhead in this very lifetime. So Lord is... again, I don't know why I went to the...
You were explaining
No, you were saying about Klesagni. These are the characteristics.
You were explaining Mishri Bhakta. This morning.
So the 6 characteristics of devotional service, the first aspect is Kleshagni. Kleshagni means relief from material.
And not from this material life. It will take more lifetime.
Something like that.
It will take more lifetime because we have taken millions of time.
Correct. So we have taken millions of lifetimes. So even few more lifetimes is minuscule compared to the millions of lifetimes that we have had material existence. So in that sense you can say it's quick relief. But Srila Prabhupada said that if you chant 16 rounds attentively every day and follow 4 regulative principles, no meat eating, intoxication, illicit sex and gambling, if we follow this, you will come back to Godhead in this very lifetime. वो भी अपने को they are struggling there also. The most difficult out of this what is which one? Attentive chanting. बाकी तो ठीक है. Attentive chanting is the most difficult. Okay, the mind runs here and there. When you sit, it tells you, जल्दी उठना भाई बहुत काम है तेरे को. Okay. So therefore, relief from material distress. It gives quick relief from material distress. So when we have started the process of bhakti, that means you can be sure that your last few lifetimes in this material world, most likely this will be the last lifetime if we are determined to follow 4 regulative principles and chant. So we'll go into details of what is this relief from material distress. Second is Shubhada. Shubhada means what? Bhakti brings in all auspiciousness into a family. Many times we see family, like for example, we have some families also, which I know in the congregation, wherein so many inauspicious things have been happening in this family. This person lost his brother. This family has a history of people getting killed in the family by other people, murder, like that. So many inauspicious things were happening. But now, very nicely the family is coming into devotional service, which means it's an end to all those inauspiciousness which will happen in the family. Many times, families are also cursed. For example, बचपन में I went to an astrologer. बहुत मेरा हाथ देखे पता नहीं क्या होगा मेरा. So थोड़ा grey हो गया. Okay. So then I asked. Then he said that this boy has got lot of Purva Janma Punyam, he said. I thought, and immediately what I was thinking, Purva Janma Punyam will translate into So immediately, paisa hai kya? So he didn't answer that way. But still, I was thinking like this. So he says that, and he told my father also same thing. In your family, you have got a history of doing lot of good activities, but you have a curse in your family. Somebody did something and your family has been cursed. So तुम्हारा कुछ नहीं होगा. So you will not be able to encash all these things. It's like I have $50,000 into my account, but then my account is locked, so I can't withdraw. But कुछ नहीं कर सकता, right? I have to still go and beg for food outside. But I have $50,000 in my bank, so you can't draw from it like that. So many times there may be curses on some family because of something else, okay? Or there may be some, of course it was not very grey or something like that in my family. But I have seen other families where all this, there's a history of deaths. Every minute somebody is dying in the family. It's like that. And that too it is akala mrityu in that sense. So you will find all these things. But with bhakti, what will happen? It is said that all auspiciousness will descend. Now auspiciousness doesn't only mean external circumstances. Auspiciousness also means auspiciousness will come inside our heart. It is said that person, when a person takes to the path of bhakti, pure bhakti, then all the good qualities of the demigods descend upon that particular person. It may take time, it depends on the intensity with which we do bhakti. But ye yathamam prapadyante tam tataiva bhajayata. If we invest more in bhakti, bhakti will give more back to us. Okay? So that is what is called as Shubhada, and we will study each of these in great detail. Then third is Sudurlabha. Bhakti is very rarely achieved. Because most of people are not interested in this world. किसी को भी बोलो भक्ति करना है, बोलता है यार बूढ़ा होगा तब क्या माला लेके घूम रहा है पागल के जैसा. People will say. Especially in Australia, at least you can roam with a beard bag. In India, if you roam with a beard bag, वो security वाला भी मेरा बिल्डिंग का देखता है. कौन है? आपका छोकरा है. And ये धोती पहन के जाएगा तो he'll fall flat. He'll think I come from some, I don't know what. I don't want to mention this state, but. कहाँ से आए? आप ऑस्ट्रेलिया में था? आपको बोला ऑस्ट्रेलिया? दूध वाले के जैसा है. People can't understand. ठीक है, give them a break. So Sudurlabha means what? Bhakti is rarely achieved. Bhakti is rarely achieved. Most people are not interested, and those who are interested, they take a long time. I am one example also. We have varied interests in life. Correct? So we can't do Vyavasayitmika buddhi. Right?
Prabhuji,
yes.
If we say it's rarely achieved, is it rarely achieved at the Nishtha platform, or is it rarely achieved even to start the Shraddha?
It's not about platform. Bhakti is rarely achieved. The perfection of bhakti is rarely achieved because there are too many material allurements that will take us away. Again, I'll go back to the Srimad Bhagavatam class I was giving this morning. It is, I was mentioning the past time, today's whole class was on Nar Narayan Rishi. Okay. Nar Narayan Rishi are the Aishwaryasya Samagrasya Veerasya Yashasriya Jnana Vairagya Chaiva Chandam Bhagavatinga. So we know this verse from Vishnu Purana, right? Who is, you must have done that, no? Remember that? So this is the verse which we usually do in our SSR programs. When we say, who is Supreme Personality of Godhead, then we show this verse. No? Yes. Bhagavan can be only that person who has got 6 opulences in full. Aishwaryasya, Samagrasya, Veerasya. He is all knowledgeable, he is all powerful, he is all wealthy, he is all beautiful. What else have I forgotten? What was the last step? Famous, whatever. And then despite being all that, he is very renounced. I lose my thread now. I am not able to concentrate.
You are saying,
why did I say this?
why rarely achieved and
No, I understand.
giving the example of why to achieve
why Bhakti is rarely achieved. Why Bhakti is rarely achieved.
Perfect.
So we were talking about Narayan Rishi. So what happens is Narayan Rishi, they were tested by Indra. Indra wanted Narayan Rishi to fall down. And therefore Indra sends all the Apsaras. उनका तपस्या भंग करने के लिए. Indra sends all the Apsaras. They want Narayan Rishi to fall down. But what does Narayan Rishi do? He is completely unperturbed. Point number A. Point number B is what? He produces more beautiful damsels by which the demigods get bewildered. Okay? And the Lord says, तुम क्या bewilder करोगे मुझे? तुमको ये लड़कियों में से कोई पसंद है, तुम एक लेके जाओ. Actually, that is what he says. Narayan Rishi says, you take one of these damsels along with you. You came to bewilder me, you thought. Now these are my damsels which I have produced. And then the demigod, they forget. Seeing these damsels, उन लोगों का घर की मुर्गी की दाल बराबर. They forget, and then they run after this. And then they say, you can take any one damsel you want. And that damsel is who? Urvashi. That's how Urvashi went to the family kingdom. So this is what we were discussing. So as a part of that, what was the point that I was driving? The point was that yes, Bhakti poses many such allurements. Bhakti poses many such allurements. And it is explained in the purports of Srila Prabhupada in that section, 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada mentions that there are so many allurements. So, yogis usually, they also so let me just go back one step. So what is the moral of this pastime? Moral of this pastime is attraction to the opposite sex ruins devotional service. Okay. So one has to be very, very careful about this, because Cupid can fire its arrow anytime. And Prabhupada writes, Cupid fires arrow through the glance of the opposite sex. Right? The glance of the opposite sex is extremely bewildering. Okay? So Cupid fires. So a devotee always has to be very careful. And opposite sex is for both. No? Likewise. Okay. So, but Prabhupada brings another interesting point. He says, but even the yogis who are not devotees, not the bhaktas, the yogis, even the Mayavadis sometimes have full control over their senses. They are not agitated by the opposite sex at all. Just like Narayana Rishi was not. Right? Narayana Rishi also was not attracted. Similarly, the great yogis are also not attracted. So can we put them under the same league as devotees therefore? No. Why not? If you attended Bhagavad class, don't answer. I know you know the answer.
Mayavadi get angry.
Huh?
Mayavadi get angry very soon.
You attended the class. I know you are listening from outside. You attended, no? Okay. So because Mayavadis become proud of the fact that they are not agitated. Not getting agitated is clearing grade 1. Not becoming proud that you are not getting agitated is grade 2. Right? And not becoming angry at the person who tried to agitate you is grade 3. And being kind to the person who tried to agitate you and put the ball back in his court is grade 4. That is what we were discussing in the class this morning. Okay? And that is how there is a difference between the pure devotee and the person who is just not attracted. For example, many times people are people are too proud of their humility. Correct? People are too proud that they are living a very simple life. हमारे पास तो कुछ नहीं है, आप तो जानते हैं, हम तो बहुत simple आदमी हूँ, and they'll go on bragging about how simple life they are living, right? So externally what's happening is that they are living a simple life, but inside the heart, what is there? It's full of pride, right? It's full of the desire to boast. Right? I am this, I am that. Without me, this wouldn't have happened. Without me, that wouldn't happen. This is a sign of pride. And Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada says that the pride of this material world is like the stool of a hog. The pride of this material world is like the stool of a hog. So if we derive prestige and pride from whatever we are doing, there is nothing worse than that. A sure short way of killing all your bhakti is to boast about it to others. So, therefore, Sudhurlava. So, amidst all these allurements, ek to opposite sex allurements, on top of that, even if you have controlled it, then you are getting proud that you are so much in control of everything. You are now the controller of, you can control your senses, you can go without water for 24 hours or 48 hours or 24 days. All these things will make the yogis very proud, right? And with pride also comes false ego and anger after that. So therefore, all these allurements means what? That pure bhakti is rarely achieved. You will get, just like you go for, I give this usual example. You went to the shopping mall. Always remember this example, especially when you are preaching. When you go to the shopping mall, you खरीदने के लिए बनियान खरीदने के लिए गए. When you go first time, okay. Oh, my sale! Oh, watch! Okay, then you go for watch. अच्छा, कैसी लग रही हूँ मैं ये watch में? And the husband also say, मैं कैसा लग रहा हूँ भाई? सूट भी देख लेता हूँ अभी आया तो खरीदने आया बनियान. By the time you leave, you have purchased, what is that? iPhone. Last में you come out of the shop, हम लोग खरीदने बनियान खरीदने. Correct? So that is the problem. You start with the desire for bhakti, but there are so many allurements. Because in bhakti, when you start doing, you will start becoming recognized. Right? You will start getting respect. Right? Now, if you get trapped in that chakkar of I am a recognized devotee, बहुत respect है हमको, then then we cannot develop the simple mood that bhakti requires. Bhakti means sadharan manush. How do you call that? Kya bolega usko? Nothing. You don't assume anything about yourself. Just normal. Normal. Like that. So it's very difficult to be normal, especially when you start getting all this recognition in this thing. People will call you, Prabhu, I'm the advanced devotee, and all that. And then, I was telling the temple, I don't know which lecture, maybe last class or something, that sometimes we forget to come to the temple as normal human beings. When we come itself, we think that 50 log mere ko Hari Bol hona chahiye. Aur koi nahi bola, Hari Bol. Main aaya tha. So this is all games of the mind. This has got nothing to do with bhakti. Coming to the temple means we just come to take darshan of their Lordships. If we have any other agenda, okay, that is, then you are seeing the deity, but you are not seeing the deity. So therefore, bhakti is very, very rarely achieved. So we have to understand. Is it clear? Okay, so many environments across the way. Moksha Lagutakrit. We just go for 2 more minutes. Moksha Lagutakrit means what? When a person becomes a devotee, a person doesn't care for liberation. Please understand, we are not, okay. When we start preaching in the initial stages, then what do we say? What is the goal of the Bhaktivedanta program?
Back to Godhead.
Back to Godhead. Yeah. No, that is true. What you are saying is true from a, but do you remember the first slide we saw on day 1 or week 2? Kya hai wo? To make your life happy. Correct, no? वही बोलते हैं ना. It is not wrong. It is not wrong to say that. Because our life becomes happy. Are we not happy after Krishna consciousness? We are. Okay. Our whole life has changed. We have a much higher happiness than what we used to enjoy, going to movies and cinemas and roaming around, showing our new t-shirts and cars to our friends and showing off. Now, all that life is over. Thankfully, it's over. All that artificial life is over. Right? So we are very happy now. We have natural relationships, we have good relationships, we take care of each other, we want to help each other, all of us want to go back to Krishna. So, but when we give the, what is called the unique selling proposition, USP of Bhaktivedanta program, what do we tell people? To make your lives happier, right? Whatever, absolutely happier, whatever. But please understand, as the devotee progresses towards prema, towards this stage, okay, then the reason the devotee does bhakti is no longer for happiness. Because the moment we say happiness, who wants happiness? Me. I want comes aage. Therefore, anya avilashita shunyam. Right?
Not there.
So, a devotee therefore, what is a pure devotee's mood? Maro bhi, rakho bhi, jo ichha tohar.
As you please.
Jo ichha tomar. Correct? तोहार बोला तो यूपी का हो गया ना. तोमार बंगाली. मारो भी राखो भी जो इच्छा तोमार. तुम कैसे भी मुझे ट्रीट करो, my dear Lord. I am your eternal servant unconditionally. You may give me the most hellish time in this world, but I am sold out to you, my dear Lord. I will serve you in any circumstance. It's easy to stand and talk about this and give a big class. It's difficult to live this in a real situation. But we have devotees in this congregation who are like that, who have gone through terrible circumstances in their life and who are still practicing. And they are not even very senior devotees. So, a devotee gradually does not even want liberation. Why do we want liberation? Because we are fed up of the misery of this material world. Birth, disease, old age and death, they affect us so much that we say, bas yaar, chakka se bahar niklo. But actually, in the higher realms of bhakti, you tell the Lord, swarga, apavarga, narakeshwa, api tuletu darshan. It doesn't matter whether you give me heavenly planets or whether you give me hellish planets. All I want is your devotional service. So, a devotee rewrites the concept of liberation. He doesn't want. We'll discuss more. Sandarananda Visheshwatma means bhakti gives a much higher level of happiness than what material happiness is. For example, if you give a pig gulab jamun and stool, what will it eat? It will eat human excreta. उसको समझ में ही नहीं आएगा गुलाब जामुन में उसमें फर्क क्या है? Because its consciousness is not evolved, right? Right? So people whose bhakti is not mature will not understand what level of bliss this is. we will start thinking, is it better than when you buy a new Rolls Royce? Materialistically, we will think like that. Because it is incalculable bliss. We can't even understand what is that which makes people mad running after the Lord. And finally, Krishna Akarshana. Lord Krishna's name is Lord Krishna. Why? What is the name? Prabhupada writes in Science of Self-Reliance. What is Krishna? All attractive. So Krishna attracts everyone. But Bhakti attracts Krishna. Okay. Madan Mohan is who? Krishna. Correct? Cupid is what? Madan. Cupid is attracted by Krishna. But Krishna is attracted by Radharani because of Bhakti. So the last characteristic is Krishna Consciousness. Bhakti attracts the Lord Himself. We'll stop here. Hare Krishna, bro. Welcome back.
For some Krishna.
Now? Okay. Just ensure it doesn't spill in the room. Okay, class over here. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.